last here, then we'll call it a Sunday. Show me confirmation with your friend there or just talk through it. Like seriously, if there's no table, you can still do it. Like just walk through it. It's the patterning. Tech minor. Go. What's special? Origins are ribs 3 to 5. Insertion is core-5 process. It does protraction. You have them in the position of supine. Resisted, try to get them to push up to the ceiling. You can say that. Match my resistance, try to push your shoulder up to the ceiling. Make sure you check in. Done. Special consent. Cover up breast tissue. Anterior deltoid. Try that one. Okay, what's special? Actions, you want them to put them into flexion as well as internal rotation, and then you're resisting that flexion motion. Origin, you can either choose to say all the deltoid origin, which is the lateral third of the clavicle, acromion, spine of the scapula, or you can just say it comes off that, slightly off that acromion as well as the lateral third of the clavicle, inserting into the deltoid tuberosity. That's also fine. Okay, no special consent. Good to go. Switching gears, your person can now escape. Tell me what a synarthrosis joint is. Tell me about a synarthrosis joint. What is it? Pause, write it down. Okay, synarthrosis is a type of joint that, is a type of joint that does not have any motion, right? It's synthesized together, or it's one. Synthesized is the best way. Okay, no motion. What are the other two based on act or motion or function like that? What are the other two? Write them down. Think SAD. Amphiarthrosis and diarthrosis. Amphi some motion, diarthrosis no motion. What are these 6 types of synovial joints? Write them down. And their degrees of freedom. What are the 3 with 1 degree of freedom? Pause between each of these if you have to. Okay, so 1 degree you have a hinge, you have a plane, you have a pivot. 2 degrees of freedom are condyloid, okay, and saddle. 3 degrees, ball and socket. Perfect. Ball and socket, does it have a lot of motion or little motion? A lot. So it's a, what type of joint? Diarthrodial. Good. What else do we discuss? What does the annular ligament do? The annular ligament. Annular ligament surrounds the head of the radius, holds it in place. Tell me other unique things about it. What's the confirmation for it? What do you practically do? Write it down. How are your hands? It's unique because it only attaches on to the ulna. Goes from one side to the other, surrounds the head, goes to the other side. Okay. Confirmation, we want to stress that ligament like any other one, right? So you hold on to that ulna. You had them in either seated, we did it in supine when I showed you. Okay, your hand is around that ulna, kind of finger, thumb in their elbow almost, in the front of their elbow. And then with the other hand, you're going to try to move that radius within the annular ligament. You're going to feel it motion. And you're going to say as you push anteriorly and posteriorly on that annular ligament, what you're going to say out loud is, good, and I feel that ligament tighten as I move the radial head within the annular ligament. Something along those lines. You feel it tighten, just like any other ligament, right? You feel it tighten, you feel it push into the, tighten or stress. Write down what is a varus force. Okay, so a varus force is when, if you're thinking about the elbow, a varus force is when the hand moves medially. Remember, valgus had an L in the word. So that was lateral, so the elbow would, or the hand would move laterally. So what is a varus force stress? Which ligament does it put stress or strain on the elbow? What did we use it for? A varus force. Pause. So a varus force pushing medially, stress the lateral or the radial collateral ligament. Ideally say radial collateral. It's more specific like we said, right? Okay, where does the radial collateral ligament, what does it run between? Goes from that lateral epicondyle to the annular ligament, right? As well as I think of the olecranon as well, or posterior border of the ulna. Yeah. So it's going to stress that radial collateral with a varus force. A valgus force, what's it going to stress? Process of elimination. So if you push the hand laterally, it's going to stress that medial collateral ligament, or specifically the ulnar collateral ligament of the elbow. What was special about the ulnar collateral ligament? Write that down. There's 3 bands, right? Anterior, posterior, oblique. Anterior being the strongest. Goes between the olecranon, the medial epicondyle, and the coronoid process, creating that like kind of triangle. Holds together that medial side. It's intrinsic. You could use that as a description. All that stuff's good for your descriptions for your OPs. Write down what's special about doing, what was I going to say? Frick. I mean, whoops. What's special? What was I going to ask? What's special about it? Oh, yeah, okay. So if you're doing a conformation for either the medial or, the ulnar or the radial collateral ligament of the elbow, write down what's important about how the elbow's sitting. How much flexion, etc. So what's important about it is that when you do your conformation, you want to have that elbow not fully extended, because when it's fully extended and fully straight, it's locked. Okay, it's called a closed pack position. You guys will do this in later terms, but it's locked. There's no motion. So that ligament actually isn't doing anything. So we talked about in class adding just a little bit of flexion to the elbow, like 5 degrees, like not much at all. Just a little bit, then you apply that force, that varus or valgus force to stress whatever ligament you're using. Okay. I'll give you 3 more. In the proximal radio-ulnar joint, so picture that, proximal radio-ulnar joint, write down if the radius or the ulna is convex. Okay, so proximal radial ulnar joint, the radius is going to be convex. It's going to rotate and pivot within the ulnar notch, radial notch of the ulna, which will be the notch that's going to be concave. Okay, what type of joint is the proximal radial ulnar joint? Pivot joint. Awesome. What kind of joint, here's question number 2, what kind of joint is the sternoclavicular joint? Saddle. What's special about it? Disc completely bisects it. Awesome. What's your conformation for the infraglenoid tubercle of the scapula? Long head of the triceps. Beauty. Awesome, guys. I hope that was helpful. I will see you on Thursday. Right on. See ya.